Well, Gen.G does end up finding a response. After a lackluster first map, they turned things around, and a large part of that, Vansili, was done off the hard work from Mikhail. The Sova for Gen.G goes big, 26-13, 282 average combat score. And not only that, he was also doing his job planting the spike 5 times for his team. So he was stepping up big for the squad.
And that's why we were talking to our Rivington was talking about how many Hunter's Fury he's able to hit, because he's planning so many times. He's building those ult points. He's getting clutches on a 2 versus 1. We talked about it in the green screen, or the green room, sorry. All 4 of us was like, how the hell does he put out an owl drone out in the middle of the open, a spawn side of A, through a Phoenix wall and still tag one and win that 2 versus 1. Not only him, but I think Huynh was also another great player that stepped up on the defender side, and that was my big question mark, because that question mark for Gen.G on the defender side is where they struggled versus Envy last weekend, and now they definitely brought it up. And I think another thing would be the retakes that Christine was going to talk about.
Yeah, Potter, the retakes. The retakes were so good from Gen.G. You know, Vansili, you mentioned that one round where it was Mikhail, but they collectively as a squad, really strong on the retake up until the last moment. That final round was a retake from Gen.G on the C site.
Yeah, I mean, Sova diff, right? For sure. and you could almost see it, right? The inner workings of Gen.G, we were talking about it. They started jumping around more. You can almost see that the comms were just elevating. These guys were absolutely activating, and you could see it in the retake actions towards the A, towards the C, whether it was off the back of Mikhail's Hunter's Fury, or whether it was off the back of just these quick retakes. Over and over and over again, they were applying the pressure onto Envy, so they could never set up for those optimal post-plant scenarios that we know Envy are so strong at. So, I mean, Gen.G, they did a fantastic job. It almost looked like they were slowly choking out Envy, and towards the end, they just completely had him.
Looking at the play that came in from Envy, though, we saw a couple of really strong plays from Food, just getting into very annoying positions. But one player that really stands out, Veli, was Mummy. His portal play, shadow stepping sometimes into these really awkward positions. At one point, he goes up on top of the boxes while the retake's going on, and he's just standing there with a classic, watching his team retake, and then gets two huge pistol kills to secure a retake on the site.
Good.
You know what's so weird about that, too? We're so early in the game's life so far that we don't really know how to utilize these ults to the best of their abilities. And what we've been doing a lot lately is using Omen's ult just for information. You want to go right on the site, see where people are hiding, they shoot you, you go back, and you make the execute. No, Mummy did exactly what worked in First Strike for 100 Thieves at a time, especially on Split. Whenever there's chaos and you're executing on the site, there is no better distraction than an Omen landing on top of the box or, you know, around the corner to get those kills and stops. I think that type of gameplay and the executes that Mummy was doing with that ult is going to open up a lot more when it comes to Envy. Now, whenever that ult is used, the other team, they don't know if he's just going to come in for information or if they're going to have to back up because he's coming up on the flank. That'll open up so many more avenues for him, Bach.
One thing to keep in mind is that this next map coming up is going to be Bind. So as we take a look at the maps from the series, we started out on Ascent, then we moved to Haven. Surprising that the teams swap picks. So Gen.G actually picked Ascent, lost it. Envy was picked by, Haven was picked by Envy, excuse me, lost by Envy there. Now we move to Bind. This is not exactly a bad map for Envy. This is a map that they usually are pretty
proficient on. For Gen.G it is.
Yeah, I know, and the last time they played, they kept it close. I mean, it was still a 13-10. It wasn't like Gen.G got slaughtered on Bind. So there's an opportunity here for Gen.G if they can fine-tune some of the weaknesses from the last time these two teams played, Veli. There's a chance they could get back into this game.
I really hope so now. Now the fact that, you know, we're catching Crashies off guard, Sham's warmed up, and Huynh is getting those impact kills, especially with the op, I think that this could actually level out a little bit. If Huynh can consistently do that and get those kills, listen, he's not always going to be on top of the leaderboards as Jet. That's okay, but to slow down pushes with 1 or 2 kills per round with that weapon, I think that's going to open up plays for GMD and the rest of the boys quite easily. This game should go down to the wire, but I'm honestly expecting Envy to take this.
Well, it's funny. You mentioned, go ahead, Potter, sorry.
I had to hop in there just because I'm so glad Veli mentioned Quinn specifically, right? Because if we think of Bind the last time around, he was on Sage, and to be honest, he just didn't look as comfortable on that agent. He didn't have the mobility to back them up. So although he was still wielding the operator, he just wasn't quite as effective. And one of the great things about Quinn is even if he's not hitting his shot, he's buying space, he's applying pressure with an agent like Jet. So I'm very curious to see how they turn that around and what agent he's going to be selecting here.
Yeah.
Well, we've got two teams fighting for their tournament lives, Gen.G and Envy going to a third map. What better way than this to send one of these teams into that lower finals? Let's jump right into the action with the casters.
We're ready and raring to go. I know the players are. Dan, we're about to get into map 3, and we're getting everything on this one. It's going the distance, and so are the teams. You win this, you're still going, and there's another juggernaut ahead of you. So it's going to be a tough day, but it's going to be some awesome play that we're about to witness.
100%. And there's a lot of questions. I think we saw Potter just bringing it up. The only time in the last 30 days that Win has not played Jet was on Bind and against Envy. So I feel like we're going to see Jet picked over Sage. I just feel like that's probably
Agreed.
what we'll see. But at the same time, as Bok pointed out, it was a very close game. I think it was 13-10. So there's definitely a lot working for them with that setup. So we're going into the agent select right now, and that's got to be the focus. Are we going to see that? Is there a world where maybe we'll see Michael bring out a Sky as well? That's something that they've messed with in the past. So there are definitely some things that we might see tweaked here. But again, this is such an important match. This is the match to land your spot in the lower finals against FaZe, to then get to the grand finals against Sentinels. So are we going to see it? He's locking in the Jet. So I think that's a very, very good choice.
Honestly, it works out really well for them. They would have just, could have had the Sova in here if they do something else, but this Phoenix, as I look at a Sova on the other team. But yeah, it's going to be the Jet. Quinn is so effective in so many ways on that. They've talked about it before. Let's watch it in game. It is making that space and creating everything. On the other side, I am ready for Envy to be able to put up a strong defensive offense once again in this game. Both teams are very familiar with Bind, having a 53 plays on Envy's side and a 48 on Gen.G's side. So really well versed in what they can be doing on this map. I think it's a lot of shower control or focus again that we see from these teams already to prioritize ultimates on mostly the Hunter's Fury and off and running from there.
Yes, Rip. I think it's such a good point because with Sage, you have to be very tactical. There's lots of stuff you can do with the ice orbs and the walls and so on to deny that early control. But I feel like the Win, just having the Jet and just being able to make plays by yourself and really go crazy, I feel like this is going to be really important, especially given how much we know that Envy likes to farm those orbs. It will give more ability, I feel like, for Gen.G to have strong challenges. But we'll go into the pistol now. Gen.G off on the attack, as they have been every map this series. Straight away, the drone comes through down short, clearing up the close positions, and we're going to get the take of the A site. There's some quick flanks coming in. In fact, 3 flanking players here, though, for Envy.
A bit of a planned retake on A for the planned take coming from Gen.G. Great pushing. I love when they get in deep on the defender's spawn. You got to start creating that pressure right away. Causes the drone to come out. They get a quick blast back, and that's going to be the shorty temp from Win, as nobody has gone down just yet.
So smart to get him off of the drone, the satchel. So smart. And it's looking very dangerous here for Envy. They're losing basically everybody. Mami's going to have to do something insane here. And Akusa's going to go to punish Finesse in the back with the classic. And that's a wrap. Gen.G pick up the pistol. And that was, just as you said, Riv, it was a nice take of the A site. It was a retake setup from Envy. They had the flanks, both teams pretty comfortable with what happened, but it ultimately Gen.G with the better execution. And the reward of winning the round. So into the eco for Envy now.
Oops, satchel. Oh well. He looked like he had fun when he bounced around on the mini-map. So we did have a bit of run over towards showers. This might actually be Kusta making sure he can get the cam in there. It's not a focus already. Food looking for that orb. And they're at least going to get the trap down here. And they can definitely hear each other. At least Food heard something.
Yeah, I love this trip. You know, you can't destroy that trip unless you go past the doorway. So that's one of the reasons why you do that. And it does the same job, but just better than the one in the corridor. That's really easy to punish. And so a very slow round here from Gen.G. Again, they don't want to fall victim to anything. There's the spot. Kusa. They're winning that 1v1 for now around showers. Somewhat of a stalemate. And behind this, as far as Envy are concerned, Gen.G could be doing anything. A lot of info at all for Envy, and here goes Gen.G though, forcing the action.
I like that point. It's only the Cypher you're seeing, so how much is actually playing off that? Well, the truth is a lot, because Gen.G's now in the site here on their Spectre Bulldog round. Koost is able to take one down. Mame falls. And now it's just going to be a bit of a rotation back to the other side. They're not liking how much pressure they may have brought over to A, but little do they know, there's quite a bit still at B if FNS falls.
Oh, Win gets a lot of kills there. That's actually pretty huge because Win could drop the Bulldog, could get an orb and pull out his knives. You know, that's something they could do if they really want to kind of min-max there with their economy, but at the same time they can also just play with what they have here, and it looks like that's likely going to be the case. And we'll see 4 Phantoms, 1 Vandal coming out of Envy for this round. And looks like Envy are going to focus on Showers control here. So that's going to be the first point of focus for the round. Who wins Showers? Who gets that first edge?
So it looks like Sean bought the Spectre, dropped it to Hwin. Hwin dropped his Bulldog. So Hwin can still keep money towards the Operator. Sean's feeling good about just the Frenzy on the bonus this round. They're playing with a little bit of econ toying here, and they're pushing through. Envy's going to be able to drop 2 here as Gen.G's looking for some shower pressure.
Ooh, who's in a very difficult spot, pulls out the classic. Sean gets the reload in, and that crunch is going to work out very nicely for Gen.G. I think they might know about Crashies. We'll have to see as he starts to move forwards from the Showers position. Finesse! He's found 2. And with that, Win is the last man standing. They don't know where he is. He's able to get himself into the 1v1. Out come the daggers, and the spike is not planted. He's got a minute to try to find Crashies. Where has he gone? Win looking for him. The reaction's there. The Red Bull clutch for Win.
Oh, wow.
And Gen.G convert the 3rd round. The bonus goes their way.
With bi-Spectre drops, a Frenzy on Sean, that feels good. So interesting to see Hwin go for the Vandal, too. We'll talk about that a little bit as we see him here clutch up once again, playing it smart, able to get the 3K, feel good about that. But, maybe the judge. So they're actually just stacking money right now. The comfort level is absurd. Knowing it's an eco, why why dip that much into your pocket? They're playing pretty smart there on the side of Gen.G.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to be said for going to the Operator when you need it, as opposed to showing that look before.
Exactly.
And we can go into that point more, maybe. As a big satchel comes through from Sean to gain position, get his team out there, but he does get punished by Caboose. And Caboose is now rotated into Showers, so he's going to have favorable engagements. If anybody tries to challenge him here, it's going to be quite difficult. But there's the swing from Win. Win is doing so much. He's come alive. From the second map, he's been perfect. He's been able to take down a few as well. And there we go. The eco is dealt with, losing only Sean, but that was pretty much by design. He had to double satchel in. He's probably going to die off of the back of that. And that's a 4-0 lead now for Gen.G.
There's laser beams right there for the eco. Confident shots, obviously, as you know, you're going up against the classics. And we're going to refrain from operators on both sides here. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit earlier. I said it at the beginning of the tournament that usually you'll see Hwin, even Mummy, go for the Bulldogs on the second round as people are going Spectres. You'll carry it longer, be able to drop it. And Bulldog also sets you up for the peek and burst. Peek and burst, the style that is also the peek and off, getting a shot. So it kind of calibrates you to get ready. And you'll see a lot of uppers go for the Bulldog route into that Operator. Here, Sean starts off the round as... Talking about that, we don't have any ops. He gets a nice kill there with the Phantom and Showstopper in his hands now.
Difficult spot for Envy. They felt like they had to push something after losing Showers control, and unfortunately for them, it's not going to work in their favor, and that might just be the rounds done and dusted there. 5 players left, all the post-plant position you could possibly ask for Gen.G, and that was off the back of that killing Showers that was through the dark cover. And then again, it triggered the short push, and Gen.G were very wise. They realized that kind of a response was quite likely. They waited for it and had better spots, pick up the kills. Very straightforward. And Crashies They get one hit. Gen.G have so much money. They want to punish. They're going to send everything to punish these players. And eventually they will be able to take down the remainder. And that's worth it for Gen.G, a team that has way better economy.
And from either team, I mean, you want to see this from any team, I should say, is that after a best of series, the starts go the distance, the mentality is still there to be able to come out this strong. Because, like I said, whoever wins this match still has a lot of work to do versus FaZe. So, great job to see Gen.G be able to come into map 3 with a clear mind here and start putting Envy down round by round. We're coming into round number 6, another save for Envy.
Yeah, it's very dangerous right now for Envy on the defense. We talk about how reliable their defense often is, but they haven't really been able to have much go their way early round. They're stacking towards showers there. Obviously, they're on an eco right now, or a half buy. So there's some light armor to go with the frenzies and the bucket.
Yep.
And Mummy's actually going to be able to have enough for a Vandal. So Mummy's going to be assisting that showers control. And they're just leaving Finesse with the Bucky on B by himself. So a very difficult situation for Envy. They have a lot of ultimates. I don't think that they necessarily want to burn them unless they get an opportunity that looks like they could maybe convert the rounds off of the back of it. And to begin with, they will be able to get that showers control. Goose is playing quite passively around this position. The rotation from Envy again to B. They don't see anything right now. They don't know what's going on.
All the patience. You know, it's that hope that you're like, somebody will peek. We'll get an idea that X agent is in this position, but the only thing they're seeing is utility coming over walls, and that doesn't give you too much of an idea other than someone's out of sight, not really holding an angle. It's going to be a slow work up towards B. Spike still dropped. So a lot of just feeling out the map right now, and it looks like it will be a committal towards B in the end. Probably a 30-40 second hit here and see if they can strangle out Envy on that defensive side.
Oh, they're doing such a good job at convincing Envy it's going to be an A play. Such a good job at making the argument for that. And it's just only Finesse and Hookah, and everybody else walked up through Garden and Long. And they have Kusta watching the flank from Market. Crashes will drone through, see absolutely nobody here. That's going to allow them to TP through safely. Gets the spot, they know this is Kusta, and they know what's going on now, but they have to be able to get the frag, and they're going to be able to take him down. And Michael, he knows exactly where they all are, so able to use the ult to secure this one. And it's looking very hard at this point for Envy, but they are starting to fight back. They're getting the frags and a couple of gun upgrades.
Oh my god, the Envy dog pile coming into effect there to start getting the first few frags. They're going to do the same thing to get into B site possibly. A beautiful paranoia coming through that allows him to open up the site. The Bucky's coming up big from Crashy. GMD trying to get the final shots in here. Looks, he pulls a step back perfectly. Draws Crashy into the advantageous shot. 13 HP, and he's living the dream. What a round from GMD.
Oh, that's heartbreaking for Envy. It looked like such a good moment, but the Red Bull clutch for GMD. He's found himself in this position many times, just clutching it out, and it seemed like he was so unaware of that possibility for Crashy to swing him. In my mind, that was a foregone conclusion, but the reaction of GMD was perfect, and 6-0 is the score as a result.
Right up top there, 2,000 plus average combat score to start. Him and Twin with the multi-kills round after round. The opening first bloods round after round. They are really coming online here in the third map. And again, remember, Envy has been on defense to start all 3 maps, so it's been on Gen.G to set the pace here throughout this entire series. Starting attack each time. A lot of showers work to clean up this first part of the round as Mummy comes up with the best of that. Last one standing there.
TP across coming in from Mummy to get back onto the site there, and pretty aware that the U-Haul position was pushed. GMD able to win the battle though regardless. That 1v1, that one fight is insanely impactful because now there's no position on the A site. Rotation comes through safely for Gen.G to get the spike planted on a truck. And this is going to be a tough one. There is Hunter's Fury available, but I don't think Crashies really wants to use that. He's going in. Clear U-Haul. The 2-man setup. Crashies is aware, but he has to hit the shot as well. Finesse in the dark and the paranoia, but playing these close ranges will push through. undeterred. That's the drone tag, and that is rough. Very rough indeed. Oh, the dog cover comes through. Shot dart as well. At this point, there's nothing that he can do, and the Showers control play, the setup there was excellent from Envy. They had the paranoia setup to blind through when Gen.G felt like it was going to be safe to push in. They caught Gen.G, but still didn't come well off the back of this. You can see Sean getting some damage in. The cage was really good from Kusa as well to protect himself and to keep that Showers under lock and key. And that opened up the short position to be lurked through by GMD, which obviously then he won the 1v1 against Mummy because of how open that area was for him. So really well played by Envy. They're attacking, or rather Gen.G, their attacking side is looking so good.
They have have an answer for everything strategy, right? As soon as one person gets pushed, the trade is there. They're comboing off each other so well right here, and plays like this from Win, again, creating space, causing that defense to push back off their original angle. Unfortunately, not enough people can follow this time around, but they are going to attempt B here and see what they can get tentatively. That is going to be the push still from Kusta onto A. We've seen this being a big factor of info grab with that lurker.
They saw three, when Win pushed in, he saw 3 people on the B site.
Yep.
They rotated an extra player, so there is a timing, despite being down to 2 players. There is a timing here for them as they move forward onto the site. And Sean able to trade through, he gets another one, that's huge. That is so huge. Now Gen.G have a chance to win this round off of the back of what was a very desperate situation. There was the one window of timing that they had, and they got in that window, and they're getting the spike planted. It's 2 versus 3. Make that 1 versus 3 as Michael's the last man standing. He's dead. Rocket in the face. And Envy, they pick up their first round.
Stop the bleeding at 7. That'd be good for a 7-5. It's going to be a bankroll built up here by Gen.G, though. I'm sure they've been buying smart. If they were losing any of their econ, they get to work off a lot of ults this round. And it just seemed like Gen.G Envy did a great job of getting away from Hwin, knowing the damage he could cause and waiting until it became the right angle to take him out.
Yeah, it was so cool to see as well, because one thing about that round is that the ult economy massively favors Gen.G. They didn't really use very much except Win's ult.
Yeah.
But there was a lot used on Envy's side to convert. So Envy are in a big disadvantage in terms of the ults, which means that Sean with that showstopper could be pretty instrumental in opening up position. Love to see what exactly he chooses to do, but Envy take the initiative. They're a big long push on B to see what they can find, but again, seeing that kind of a push, will that trigger Gen.G to push something else? Because they know that there's a lot of players towards B right now. The A side of the map is somewhat open, but they're actually allowing Envy to reset.
Yeah,
and
Spike was down there. Becomes tough for the run situation. I was right there with you thinking like, oh my gosh, they're all coming down B, but it's a default strat with a spike down, so it almost can't be acted on. See if they can still get this site over towards the A side. Traps are down, and this is much more of a wait till they hit the traps and then show where you are kind of site play. You really want to just pop out of the woodwork once your opponent starts stepping too far.
Players in position for Envy to defend this A push. Main shots goes out. That's a decent amount of damage. GMD tries to get a TP there. Not going to work out. Michael with a forward kill on Caboose. That's going to mean backside control is now with Gen.G. Finesse, he's everything right now. He goes down. He had to survive. If he survives there, then he is going to give his team a chance. But they might have to save now off of the back of that play because they don't have any position to work with. They've got nothing. They have nothing here. And indeed, they're going to start to fall back to the B site to save. There's just no other choice, especially given that Mummy has that operator. And you want to be able to actually have a full gun round next round. And they should be able to have something that resembles that with these 3 saved weapons. But it's terrifying, Rip, because they try to go for a B-long play. And after they were spotted, they were panicking. They were thinking what we were talking about. Oh man, Gen.G might have used this and try to push something else. Then they had to drone immediately to figure out what was going on. And eventually they came upon a site setup on A and actually got ahead of what was happening.
Yeah.
But still couldn't defend. They still had no ability to defend that because they'd already lost the forward positions because of that early round play. So Envy is in a position where they can't win showers. Their plays around B are not working. When they're playing passively, Gen.G are able to just coordinate into wherever they want. Everything looks bad right now for Envy.
And Gen.G are spicing it up, right? Huynh with the operator was the one initiating that U-Haul push with 2 members in a classic. Like, you expect the op to be back in mid trying to shoot heaven, but they just have so many options because they are flowing with whatever the situation is right now. And I think that's the reason they're able to kind of circumvent what Envy's trying to do on these defensive positions. I mean, look at them right there to help each other out. That was almost a pie in the face as Sean had his nade out. Oh my word.
And yeah, that's that's savage. Dude, though, looking to me drop, and he has a curveball. He could try to just go for this. Oh, he didn't know when the dark cover was going. That's rough. And Gen.G right now, they're looking insanely strong. It's Envy in terms of the confidence game. They're in that position, Riv, where nothing feels like it's working.
Yeah.
The confidence to make plays is starting to disappear because the times when they've tried to do that, nothing's worked. And I mean, I don't know what the adjustment is. They tried to play for showers that last round again, just they can't win any area of the map.
And honestly, you know, it becomes an enigma for who they're playing next. FaZe watched a map go to Envy, a map go to Gen.G, and then Gen.G just completely wake up and start obliterating. So how do you read this? They got to be watching what's going on here. And damn, is that going to be a good map as well? We're still here on this one. Envy not out yet, but tournament lies on the line here in map 3 for both teams. 9-1 as we're entering round 11. Got a minute left in this. And Sean is the first to go down on the side of Gen.G.
A good early pick from Food with that aggression. They hold on to the A side positions, playing passively now are Envy and Gen.G. So many times walking into the A site has worked out. And Envy holding backside control at the moment. Forward dark covers. Michael finding a path through to U-Haul. He has the spike though, so he has to be cautious. He doesn't lose the fight. A little bit afraid for Michael right now. Shot blast to try to clear position. Trays come through. There's the paranoia. Oh my goodness, Win is in close range, but it's Kusto with a double to defend against Envy as they try to get some aggression going towards this attack. But it's the spike planted, and it's a 3v3 retake, and there goes the run it back from Food, looking for value, but it's not to be found.
Heavy util already coming out, so they know where they might have to be firing here with that Sova Dark Caboose, and the rest of the team able to hit their mark in grabbing some incredibly necessary rounds at the end of this first half. If they can put a bit of padding on what could happen for second half pistol, that will help greatly.
Definitely.
Last round in the half.
These rounds here are just so quick sometimes, and then so adjusted to what the team is finding could be an advantage. You see a few frags, or Kusta's already made it into A, and the A rotation has been left towards B for MB. We're definitely seeing Gen.G reach into the strat book here to continue to be versatile. And it's going to be towards A here. Thought Showers Control would get a bit more. We have seen it back and forth. But now, again, it's going to be a priority as they start moving for the 3-2-A split.
Yeah, that Showers Control coming in aggressively from G&D. Able to get all this control. The monies, he's got the pick. That's huge. But at the same time, we talked about this. Short was open. Forward positions, Gen.G able to abuse this fact, and they have swarmed the A side despite the initial good look. But Caboose, he's got the rocket, and with that, they got the 3v3. Envy still in this for the last round of the first half.
So interesting. No plant just yet. Didn't feel like they had full control of the site. Now no Caboose is coming up cat. So you might have to retake you all. Crashy steps in. Food steps in. The plant just going down in time. And it's going to be the defuse now coming in from Envy to grab the third and necessary round here in first half. What a retake there from them. Coming through with a bit of life to carry into second half.
Really happy to see something going the way of Envy towards the end there. And again, it was off of the back of, I mean, nothing really changed all that much. You know, Fu gets an early pick with the short B aggression, and they were able to convert off of that. And then in this next round, they had some success around showers where they typically they've never come away from that usually with a pick, and this time they did. So at the same time, it was difficult because, again, as we said, when you condition the defense to have an early timing where they're focused around showers, short is completely open. Gen.G abused that fact, and they're going into this next half. You know, Gen.G still have so much confidence, but we're going to have to see an Envy that's unaffected by all of that success. And at least they're on the attack, so they can take the initiative. So it should be easier for them to find their feet here as they look to focus on B.
3 frenzies on that side of Envy. So that death ball runs together, right? You have everybody else moving left side just to cover a flank. That's going to be Crashies. We see Food, FNS, and Caboose all together here. It looks like they're going to be making a run for the side. And Gusta's in a tough spot.
Oh, Gen.G though, he's managed to find that quick frag in the dark cover to just hold the perimeter for now, as the rest of his teammates start to line things up to coordinate into an attack together. Spike will be planted, and it's looking quite scary right now for Envy to hold on to this one. There comes the Paranoia, but wins in the backside. In the cloud burst, he's going to find Mummy, but now he's alone, tapping the Spike. That's going to force them forward. As the cloud burst comes through, he punishes Finesse, moving forward, and now it's just down to one more. The tap comes in again, but Win can't hold on this time. It's up to Crashies, and Crashies delivers for Envy. And that's the pistol that Envy needed. I think it's fair to say. So important, but they get it.
Crashies, the savior. Credit goes to the entire team. It is a team game, but you saw who was standing last there and able to make the mark. 22 HP to Win, who was very, very healthy. I think still at 100 even after that first engage there. It's going to be 9-4, the bonus round. Now, Envy likes to bonus and carry the bonus. I wonder if they instantly go for big buys here and not bonus too long with those weapons. It'll be interesting to watch. Envy Food starting off on Quinn. Big takedown there on a round where he can always make damage with a classic. Food just flying out as he takes Mikhail down as well.
Yeah, Envy guessed right this time, and you know, we saw that there was a setup from Gen.G. They had the recon through back showers to kind of crunch through showers with most of their players, of course, leaving just one on the B side effectively initially. And that's just how it goes sometimes in these anti-eco situations. It's just guesswork. You go for early round timings. Setting up for some exits. And looks like only one will go down on the side of Envy. So overall, Envy pretty happy about the start of this. And going into the first gun rounds, I'm very curious what Gen.G are going to do. They could try to play aggressively. They could try to play passively. Both styles of play obviously have their pluses and minuses. It's really about where they think Envy will be weak. And there's 3 towards B, and it looks like the focus will be on hookah control to begin with for Envy. So we might get a fight straight away.
And look at these upgrades here. Food actually has Run It Back. He lived that round, right? He got a 3K, but dropped it so he could go to Phantom with Run It Back. And he was actually given the chance to hunt more than everybody else. I think the comms were to him last round to get those eco frags. So smartly done here by Envy. Run It Back again on round 3. You can hear that over and over again for Food as they prioritize him. See how they work it here towards Hookah Dan. It looks like it's going to be a pretty big commitment.
Well, Gen.G just burned his Paranoia on A short, so I think that's something that Envy know about. So they might reset back to short, knowing that there's no Paranoia coming in. That's massive, and they clear hookah. So with that, if I were Envy, I would really be, or rather, if I were Gen.G, I'd be really thinking about the Paranoia getting burned as a massive bait here, because drone will be used on hookah, so they know that no one's hookah. They know it has to be A right now. So if Envy hit right now, they're going to have a good timing.
Joke's over.
Run It Back is still there. They do it right next to that double stack box in mid. Entry into the site. Food is the one to be the sentry and let them know where things could be, how much he's done. And that call goes out. Kusta in a great spot on Tribox. GMD, they just weren't able to get him out right there of U-Haul, and he does such good work.
Left.
Food, though, he's looking to try to clutch this 1 versus 4. He doesn't know if anything is left on the B side, but he's got to be quick. He has to gamble because the rotation is going to come through. He has the spike, so he can plant it and try to win the clutch from there. But you can see that right now, Gen.G are also giving him massive respect. They want him to plant because if he plants, which he will be forced to do, that means they know precisely where he is. He goes for the premature pick, and that's why they were pausing. They were waiting for a move like that, or to guarantee know his position when he's forced to plant the spike. That's extremely disciplined and well thought out by Gen.G. Not giving, in 4 versus 1, not giving a single edge away.
knowing you're in the lead, that moment that you have the upper hand can mean so much in controlling your economy, not making the wrong move, and pressuring your opponent into something that will be an error. There, the push forward, not so much an error. Unfortunate to just get the dink on his first shot, but well played all around. 10-5 now as we enter round 16. Drone to start up short here. And we'll see what it does. There was a dart just from Mikhail down B, so they know nobody's going to be at B just for now.
Going very, very fast into this A setup, and it's looking good so far for Gen.G. Kusa with that frag, that's going to help them to maintain that backside control. There goes the hot hands. That's going to trade out. Kusa still looking difficult here for Envy as they try to hold on to the U-Haul position, and it's now just Caboose who has to do everything. Oh my. Confidence coming in from Sean is unstoppable as Gen.G go to 11, and Envy, we were hoping, I think, for them to have some momentum off of the back of those early round wins, but they never really got started, Riv.
They didn't. And that play right there just shows that Gen.G is ready to commit, feeling they're comfortable to have an answer if that commitment is wrong. One Sova dart down B at the beginning of the round, and that's everybody here. There was definitely some confirmation on intel and utility used at A that might have triggered that they should be running over, but what calls that they're making right now to just shut down Envy. Now onto an eco round for Envy here. Sheriff's looking for those laser headshots if Envy can get anything back here.
Envy, again, Envy will be eliminated if they lose this match from Masters.
Absolutely.
The winner goes on to the lower bracket finals to play against FaZe. And Envy, one of the favorites of the tournament, in a lot of trouble here. And Crashies, he'll be able to open things up with the Sheriff. They need this round. They've got very little to work with, but they need this round. Caboose able to get one more, a second from Caboose. And just like that, Riv, there's a very strong chance now that Envy pick up this unlikely round.
But I was saying, looking for those laser headshots. Apparently they had it locked and loaded in the chamber. Beautiful job coming in from Caboose, nailing those with the distraction of the rest of the team. Dart comes over, could be able to hide from that just on the angle he can. Oh, he got revealed actually. There's one. It could be the second. Little gate play as he toys with Crashies. 82 and 14 armor versus just 50 HP. Oh! He masks his hop-up step with a few shots, finds a different angle that Crashies was not expecting. And that's going to be the round for Kusta.
And that's for the Red Bull clutch as well. That's a beautiful adjustment from Kusta. And I actually thought that was such a smart play from Crashies. You know, he was sitting in a position where he's in a complete off angle. There's not going to be the crosshair placement. It puts Kusta at a disadvantage to a small extent. But I think Kusta, in making that jump across at that precise timing when the cage was dropping, also created some problems.
Cypher
so it made it
5-head.
Exactly. Very weird fight to be a part of for Kusta. Super focused. And that's it. Match and series points here for Gen.G.
Amazing to say after what we saw in the first map, Dan, honestly, and what we have seen this series, it has provided, and Caboose, the rest of the team opening up as fast as causes chaos. It's going to be the dueling Hunter's Furies back and forth. Enemies revealed with the neural theft as well, and that is going to be a great round start for FNS and Squad on the side Envy.
It's looking like a very difficult scenario. Will Sean want to use this showstopper here? They are at a massive disadvantage. 3 versus 5, but they have backside control, so they have position to work from. Now comes the U-Haul take, and it's all about taking over U-Haul here. Sean, I don't think there's an argument now to use the showstopper. It's a 2 versus 5. They might want to keep that one in the hole, but we'll see what they're able to accomplish. You can see Envy holding their ground, holding their position. They know if they keep U-Haul, that they will win the rounds.
I mean, at this point,
nothing that...
I don't want to say at this point, I think they don't want to get out of here, save those, and they realize that it's just damage for now. Dan, a sigh of relief, but still a bit of holding your breath here for Envy. Match point will continue on. They have to come up with 6 rounds, and it will help that they can bolster a few more rounds in their favor here with what will be an econ on the side of Gen.G.
We might actually get a showstopper opening possibly here from Gen.G as well. Gen.G have a lot of confidence, they have a lot of rounds to play with, and in terms of the ultimate economy, I feel like there is an argument to gamble a showstopper in the early phase of this round if the opportunity presents itself. And you've got Win also sitting there in Hookah with Sean, so very dangerous setup around Hookah. And it looks like Envy might be avoiding this. They are playing for information here. Fu's going to see nobody in showers. If you see nobody in showers, the process of deduction means that if there's nobody here, then obviously they have to be set up elsewhere because they want early round fights. So that tells them already quite a lot of what could be happening.
There's already pings going into the A side. A Cubby just got hit from where we saw GMD teleport out of. It's going to be the A mid here. A bit of rotation is coming in. It's going to be the 3v5 on A, and the 1-for-1 trade comes up to give Envy the advantage.
Big opening entries there. Lots of those fights. Complete 1 versus 1s. Could have gone either way, but it is Envy with that side advantage, using the power of the Phantoms to their advantage, and it's Win now with the shorty creeping in. He might try to find that dash up draft to try to take down one player, and that, if he's able to take somebody down, maybe steal away a rifle, that could be a good way for him to finish the rounds. But also just looking for exits, trying to make this expensive as possible for Envy. And same thing for Michael here. However, right now Envy know that showers is clear. Showers to attack a spawn is completely open, and that's guaranteed. However, Win, here's some footsteps. There might be an opportunity here that he's looking for. Oh, they're going to go through the TP. That's another option as well. See, he knows that one is nearby. He's going to try to close the distance. But actually, a couple players from Gen.G going to fall to the spike in the end. So, all survive for Envy.
12-7. It comes up another gun. Win with the operator coming into this round. Feeling like that could be something where he puts up a little bit of a stopper on the side of Envy. Tactical pause to come in for Gen.G before we start round 20.
Yeah, it looks like we'll get a quick tech coming in from Gen.G. And it's looking like a very aggressive start. We can see everybody towards the market barrier looking at that short B control. And Win is going to be on the other end of this for Gen.G. And he's got an operator, so it's very likely that Win's going to either hold the gap. He could also, and that's what it looks like will happen. He's not against the barrier, which would suggest that he'd be looking to actually try to peek out from short B, from hookah, into that market engagement. And instead, he's just holding this angle with Sean there to support. And I'm curious what will be used here from Envy to actually displace this setup. You could always use that paranoia. That's usually a pretty safe way to force these players back.
Yeah.
And given that there's not been much of a setup around showers, and it looks like Envy wants to push for shower control, I hope that they use the right utility here on hookah.
Yeah, I love this way of running A. You put your traps in A, you have 2 showers, 3 rotate over if they need to, and you have a good pins. Food, however, cakes out Win right away. This is going to be a rush onto B. A rotation from Gen.G. Looks like it could already be happening. There's the teleport hit, and now this could be a hold. No, they're already in the site. It looks like Mummy is going to try to get that spike down.
Spike planted.
Huge kills there into hookah, and 2 versus 3 on the retake. Actually, finding some love there is Envy, even though it was looking very unfavorable, but still not quite enough, as Kusta will be finished off. And I talked about the setup there in hookah and how dangerous that was. And Fu just walks up, he strolls up and just instantly shoots Win in the face. I don't think Win even got to react and pull the trigger with the operator. So that setup is not only blown up, it was expensive. And with that said, Envy, they're on the comeback trail here. This is not over just yet for Envy. They've got the momentum, they're starting to feel confident. And once again, much like Envy were on their first half, we got Gen.G on those eco rounds.
It's amazing because, you just said it, Gen.G is on that buy to eco, which means they're going to have to fold rounds unless they can come up with an amazing strat after every gun round loss. And that is how Envy is capitalizing, getting back into this one. A little bit of utility usage towards hookah. They've liked B quite a bit here on the side of Envy, figuring out how to get the utility out, maybe getting a few frags from the lurker. But they have left quite a bit of A, Dan. This is usually where they have somebody watching the flank, so they have quite a bit of unknown on the side of Envy for this round.
Yeah, Kusa could win the round for Gen.G. If he has a performance here, the thing is that they might even just spam him, because if they see the trip there, spamming that, if they really want to go to A, wouldn't cost too much. And in fact, Fu's just going to stroll straight out there, and looks like that's going to be all fine and good. So never mind. So not too much from Kusta, and the side is for free for Envy effectively. So they should be good here. And once the spike is planted in rounds like this, it becomes almost impossible for the ecoing team. However, Sean finding a headshot like that could definitely shift things now as backside control goes in the favor of Envy, but they Gen.G, but they have to also take U-Haul control.
Oh, there's the find, jumps up, goes for the teammate takedown. Oh my god, Mikhail from the
One
back!
enemy
That's gonna be the
remaining.
paint shells coming out. They're trying to fire through here just to the right. Sova dip from Mikhail! Dan, that's gonna be it. Gen.G's gonna find it. They're moving on to the lower bracket finals to face FaZe.
Rim, that
Defenders
doesn't,
win.
that doesn't make any sense at all. They were looking impossibly strong. Showers control, U-Haul control, short control. Anyway, and I mean, Gen.G, what did they have to work with? Almost nothing. Some Buckies and some Sheriffs, and they still win the round there. So I don't really understand it. I'm going to have to go back and look and see exactly how they managed to finagle that one. But they did it. And like you say, they've eliminated one of the favorites from the tournament. Envy's gone. Gen.G are going to be up against FaZe in the lower bracket finals to decide who will face off against Sentinels in the grand finals. Is it going to be the FaZe rematch, or will we have Gen.G making a run, a team that nobody expected to be in the finals, or even have a shot at the finals? But here they are, looking like an extremely strong pick.
It's a literal gauntlet, right? FaZe and then Sentinels. Honestly, to be able to do that is going to be tough. But from what we just saw from Gen.G, to come out from a map 1 beatdown like that, knowing you could bring it to a map 3, playing hard on Haven, and then completely reversing the script and doing the same thing Envy did to them in map 1 and winning just handily there. It's great to see, and I think it's exactly what the Gen.G fans need to see as they gave out their energy for those last few maps, and as they move on to face FaZe, another juggernaut of this tournament.
Absolutely incredible stuff. And I think it's going to be time to throw it over to the analysts to get their thoughts on what was an incredible match and an insane upset.
An upset indeed, as the #1 seed coming into Masters is eliminated. And Vansili, I think we got to start with you. That was your favorite to make it and win the whole tournament. And now they're eliminated alongside 100 Thieves, another team we also had pegged as a potential favorite to win the tournament. What is going on here? It's a tournament of upsets.
Now I just have to continue and apologize to every single team that I've predicted to win because I think I was only right once. So I don't want to be the caster's curse or the analyst's jinx. I apologize in advance if that's the superstition you might go with. But just looking at that series for Gen.G, what went right actually for that team? They controlled that A site every single time on Bind. They were so aggressive, and the question mark that Christine and I had before was like, okay, well, Huynh, is he going to stay as a Sage? Is he going to go as a Jet? He took that Jet, and him and Sean together holding that W inside that site, not only for entries and clearing spaces, but how many times did they backstab players of Envy in showers, in U-Haul? They were not ready for that for Envy. It just looked like they cleaned up their defense as well for Gen.G with some dirty frags from these players.
I mean, looking specifically at Win, even though there were some impact plays, statistically it was not a crazy game from Win, finishing just 12 and 12. This was a huge moment though, Christine. They go for that TP play, go towards B, and somehow Demon ends up clutching that out from the corner. It looked like all hope was lost when it came down to him in the 1v3.
All hail the savior of GMD, man, because up until that point, Gen.G were completely in control, and it looked like they were going to throw a round away to a 5-person TP eco round. And GMD comes out with those 3 kills. Man, Gen.G, I'm loving this energy that they have. Vansili just touched on it, the aggression coming out towards that A site, the synergy, the trades, the bouncing, the aggro, and contact off each other. And, you know, Fuck, you mentioned the frags coming out from Huynh, but Huynh is the homie, because in that last round, with Sean busting out that Raze rocket, and Huynh, you know he's calming to his teammates saying, you know what, come on, let's go in U-Haul, I got you. And he sets up Sean for a perfect Raze ult. That's the kind of teamwork I love to see, and this is a whole new kind of Gen.G that I'm a huge fan of.
Oh, Bach, I gotta stop you for a second, man. Buckies and Pisties, I'm gonna let you know now. On Gen.G, they win those. No, so that type of aggression was really special to me. I told you that one of my topics I wanted to talk about was Envy's aggression when they started to turn it up 2 rounds before halftime, and Envy was doing so well. But the thing was, before that, that was when Gen.G just had their spit on them. You know what I'm saying? They were aggressive. What was it? It was 4 out of 5 players that were negative. Envy couldn't have any aggression. They didn't have any credits. They had really nothing out there, right? So seeing Win be ballsy like Potter called out for that win, it was crazy. No pun intended, but I'm happy that Gen.G caused the upset. In regards to Envy, though, man, this is a team that's had potential since December. We're waiting to see it. This is a great team. It's unfortunate they lost, man, but I still think that we haven't seen all of them yet, which is so unfortunate.
I still feel like there's not anything inherently wrong with this NV team.
No.
They still had a great tournament run, short and shorter than maybe some of us would have expected, and we can see just where they ended as we pull up the bracket and take a look at see where we're going to be heading next. Envy, they definitely tried to get to that final conclusion that we've been wanting them to see. We wanted to see them hoist that trophy so many times. They've gotten close, but just not quite to that finish line as they fall short here in the lower semifinals to Gen.G, who picks up the win 2-1. So now Gen.G has to go and repeat that performance, run it back against a very hot-handed FaZe who was obliterating their opponents until they ran into Sentinels. That's a little bit scary there for Gen.G. If you look at this matchup, Vansily, I'm not sure I have as much faith in Gen.G as I did in the last one.
Honestly, when I'm looking at these two teams for FaZe and Gen.G, and you're saying that FaZe has hot hands right now, I think we could say exactly the same thing for Gen.G.
True.
Just by looking how these players have played versus Envy right now. Again, talk about GMD, how mechanically good he is with the multiple kill he has. On Ascent, how good he is. Michael with the clutches that he's doing. Sean, and also Kusta and Huynh. All those 5 players are popping off right now, and this could still be a very close matchup and difficult for FaZe.
I want to say it's going to be difficult for FaZe, and the only reason I say that is simply because Gen.G's warmed up. They're coming into this one off of a really strong performance. They're super hyped up, especially off of the way they won that last map, going up 7-0 before surrendering a round over to Envy. But still, FaZe has been an absolute juggernaut all tournament long, and I think all of us would love to see a rematch between FaZe and Sentinels in the finals. But we're going to throw things to a break, and when we come back, we'll see if Gen.G's got what it takes to best FaZe, or if FaZe will get that revenge in the end. Stay tuned.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Then give families plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need starting at $35.
It's so much more than just a great network.
And offer the best in entertainment on select unlimited plans, like Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+, as well as Discovery+, with a Galaxy S21 Plus 5G when you buy one. There's no reason to settle for less than the best. Only from Verizon.
Let's go.
Apply now at RedBullCampusClutch.com.